Oh. John never had this kind of trouble with his hair and his bandana. But who cares, because I've got a knife. This big. This big, motherfucker. Yeah. So, what they're going to talk about today. Yeah. Oh, this looks so bad in rehearsal. But who cares? Now, you've all heard me talking about Halloween and horror movies ad nauseum. Yeah, and, you know, Halloween is the time of horror. But of course, there's been some great news over the last couple of weeks. Rambo 5. Rambo 5! Old John J is going to kick ass on a large scale yet again. And boy, am I happy about that, because if there's one thing I love in not more than horror films, but just as much as horror films, it's good old 80s action carnage, one-man armies, guys built like this, carrying things like this, doing nasty things like this, bows and arrows, and machine guns. Yeah, that's me all over. Kilt-Man loves some carnage, and Rambo is the daddy of them all, as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, the great news: Sly Stallone, what is he? 71, 72, an old guy. But my God, is he in shape? And of course, let's get this fucking thing off. My God, is he in shape? See him doing his workouts on YouTube? Go and have a look. This guy is an old crock, but to look at him, he's ripped. He is jacked, man. You know, I've done weights all my life, and this guy's looking fantastic. I'll never look as good as that. Never. He's 72, and I won't look as good as that. So, anyway, Rambo 5. And they've given it a proper title now, and it is Last Blood. Makes sense. It does. Because this is meant to be, you know, the end of Rambo. Roxy the Husky is here again, causing her own brand of mayhem in the background and the sidelines. Yeah, so Rambo goes back home at the end of the previous film, which was called Rambo. Yeah, I know. You have First Blood, then you have Rambo First Blood Part 2. Then you have Rambo 3. Then you have Rambo. And now you've got Rambo Last Blood. Their titles are a complete nightmare, aren't they, when it comes down to it. But then again, look at The Thing. Yeah, John Carpenter's The Thing. And they go and do a prequel to that. What did he call it? The Thing. And of course, Halloween 2018. First film was called Halloween, made in 1978. This film, although there's been like, what, 6, 7, 8, 9, I don't know, I lost count. Other films in between. And this one's called Halloween. Now there's a dragonfly flying past. Which reminds me, in Rambo First Blood Part 2, dragonfly calling wolf den, come in, wolf den, or something like that, you know. So, forget all the stupid titles. Rambo, of course, this film was initially going to be the big boy, everyone's favourite PTSD, you know, Vietnam vet, was going to be going up against some kind of soldiery monster, a US secret government experiment, creating a super soldier which goes fucking tits up and creates, well, what is tantamount to a werewolf. Whoa, what a great idea. So Rambo was going to be alongside a team of special forces, and up in the Alaskan wastes, we're going to hunt this thing down and get picked off one by one. It would be Sly's retaliation or final long-term answer to Arnie and Predator. And I'd love to have seen that. Man, I'd love to have seen that. But no, in the end, that gets quashed, that idea, and they go back to this original idea of Rambo is back home at the end of the previous film. He's gone back to his father's ranch, and he's living, you know, the quiet life, you know, out on the range, and a friend's daughter gets kidnapped by a vicious, barbaric Mexican drugs cartel. and he goes on the he goes on the offensive to go and rescue her, and obviously wage a personal vendetta against these badass boys down south of the border. Now, forgive me, but that seems like a bit of a backward step. It's kind of generic, This is Liam Neeson territory, straight to video sort of fodder, really. But in Sly Stallone, we put our trust. We have our faith. Look, the guys kept Rocky alive and kept Rocky still vibrant and still doing the business. Even though with the clever offshoot of the Creed movies, makes sense that Rambo should still keep going. Now, of course, Rambo died at the end of the book. David Morrell's classic early 70s thriller. Classic book. If you haven't read the book, forget the film, watch the book. Read the book. The book is just unbelievably good. And gives you a whole new slant and depth on Rambo. And of course, at the end of that, he died. But the film was a big success, as we all know. So they wanted more of Rambo. That makes sense. So they bring David Morrell back to write the novelizations of Rambo First Blood Part 2 and Rambo 3. Was there a novelisation of Rambo, the Burmese one? I don't know. I didn't get that one. But Rambo came back many, many years later. He's fought the Russians, he's fought small town cops and the National Guard, and he's kicked everyone's ass. He's beaten Russia and the Viet Cong single-handedly. And then he fights the oppressive Burmese regime. And what a blood-crazy rush that film was. Jesus Christ. That was a real, people going, Stallone can't come back and do Rambo again. Not again. He's too old. Fuck me. Did you see that movie? Jesus Christ. That was a bloodbath and a bone-crushing bonanza of Rambo Bedlam. Try saying that when you're drunk. And God, I loved it. But the way it finished, it kind of could have stayed there. We didn't really need to see any more. Rambo had gone back home. So you bring him back anyway for this Mexican thing. Now, I don't know if you've seen the pictures, because Stallone has, tweeted pictures in the last few days, basically saying filming has begun. And it's Rambo as you ain't seen him before. He's got shorter hair, Stetson on, a long duster, cowboy jacket, cowboy shirt, cowboy boots, and he's riding a horse. Because he's now literally a frontiersman. He's working the ranch, working the range, and I presume on the Tex-Mex border. I'm not entirely sure. I mean, his biography, he's born in Bowie, Arizona, unless I'm mistaken. Murdoch in Rambo First Blood Part 2 he says Rambo of German and Native American origin. That's a hell of a combination. Did you know that David Morrell didn't like that, because he thought Stallone does not look in the least bit Germanic. He looks more Italian. Well, he is the Italian stallion, isn't he? So, in the books, he's of a Native American, a Navajo mother, and an Italian immigrant. And that makes perfect sense. Even the name, like Rambo, it's got a sort of a hard-hitting Latin / Native American, punch to it, and it works really well. So you see him now. This is going to be the early phase of the movie where he's riding the range with all this gear on, but he looks good. Stallone looks bloody good wearing it. If you just saw that picture, and there's been a few, in his cowboy duds, you'd be like, is Stallone making Rhinestone 2? You wouldn't be thinking Rambo. But the more I've thought about it, the more I like it, because quite simply, that stuff's going to come off. If you've seen the workouts he's doing, he looks phenomenal. In terrific shape. Well, that's not going to be covered up. That's going to be on show. I know, like in the last film, he was covered up because he looked like an ogre. He'd worked out and he bulked up, but he was a pure caveman. Like someone out of, he was a cave troll, from Lord of the Rings. So the shirt stayed on, but there's no way on earth. He's so ripped. He did Bullet to the Head. He did the Expendables movies. And you could see that guy has put the effort in, put the hours in, and he paid dividends. So there's no way on earth you're not going to see this guy stripped off again, down to the waist, hopefully with his some kind of Buddhist medallion on again. That's the one he gets in Rambo 2 and gives away in Rambo 3. It's a little Afghan Mujahideen lad. This film is dedicated to the brave soldiers and patriots of the Mujahideen. Look what they became. Ugh. But, you know, at the time, they were the good guys. Then they became really, really bad guys. Sly wasn't to know that, though, was he? So the bandana will be on, knife, bow and arrow. I mean, he's going to go back to basics. They always say this, he's going to go back to basics. He's never been anything but basics. Personal weaponry, Rambo First Blood Part 2. He loses all his high-tech gear. So he's got the bow and he's got the knife. He'll pick up guns along the way. He'll then fly a helicopter. Yeah, granted. And then in like Rambo 3, he'll drive a tank as well. You know, and fly a helicopter. But, you know, he's still pretty much bow, arrow, knife, and assorted, you know, bits of small arms kit. So, I have no doubt that this is going to tread a very familiar path. He'll be setting traps for these guys. He'll infiltrate. He'll do some damage. He'll be pursued. He will leave traps. He will decimate his pursuers, and he'll sort of carry on like that. And then you'll have the big final bloodbath. And then, if he's to be believed, old Rambo's going to bite the bullet. He's going to go off to that farm in the sky. So, you know, I'm looking forward to this. I presume this will be out next year. Filming's begun now. He's quick at getting stuff done. I mean, Rambo, the fourth instalment, that come out pretty quickly. Then again, it kind of had to, because the whole thing was leaked. Do you remember that? And the work print was leaked out in a really, really good copy as well. Pretty much everybody had it. And yet, you think that would have harmed the box office, and it didn't. The film still cleaned up at the box office, and because Stallone, man, you know, he's had his detractors over the years, but this guy, he's won the Oscar. Writer, director, you know, actor, producer. You know, look, a lot of his 80s stuff, you know, like Over the Top, Cobra. Man, I love these films, but, you know, they are just of their time. Rambo became a political agenda. He became, you know, a poster boy for a certain brand of in-your-face, cutthroat politics. But we love the guy because he represents the one-man army, the guy that will not be pushed. Or rather, he'll take so much and then he's going to throw it back in your face and burn your town and kill all your men. And then you at the end of it. And then curl that lip, you know, because telling you the law. Out here it's me. Don't push it. Don't push it, I'll give you a war you won't believe. Just awesome. Stallone kicks ass like nobody else. And he uses wonderful things like these. I love this. Love this. I have the other ones too, but there's something about that bit, the Rambo 3 one. Sweet Jesus, you know. You could take down a helicopter with that, you know, like, Rusky helicopter. And then run in slow motion from the explosion. If you can hear that, that's Stallone's brother singing Peace in Our Time at the end of First Blood Part 2. It's not a good song, is it? But anyway, the whole point of this little jokey video is just to celebrate the fact that Rambo's coming back, and boy am I made up. Look in one of the pictures that come out today, and Rambo's getting his cowboy gear, and I think he's got his foot up on the table. He's in he's in his ranch or a shack or something. Behind him, you have a gun rack. There's Winchesters and Remington repeating rifles there. On the wall as well, you've got the big machete that he hand forges from the previous movie. That's on the wall. And there's all pictures too, you know, obviously vintage pictures. Now, I've tried to analyse them to see if they're Special Forces pictures, you know, Vietnam, memorabilia. or what? I don't know. I can't quite tell because it's kind of a bit blurred on the picture, but I'm loving it. I'm digging what I'm seeing so far. And, you know, whether he's going after a wolf, a monstrous werewolf type creature, or taking down, you know, greasy banditos from south of the border, it don't really matter. It's Rambo, for God's sake. An expert with guns, with knives, with his bare hands. I'm gonna live off the land. To eat things the billy goat would puke. To ignore weather, pain. I fucked up the lines, but who cares, you know? I'm just so elated that the big guy's coming back again. So, you guys, let me know what you think. Comment below, let me know. And is it a yay or a nay for Rambo's return? And almost certainly finale, hence the title, Last Blood. What do you reckon? Are you up for it? You're going to see Rambo again? One last outing? One last machine gun, explosive arrow tipped outing? You know? Come on! You know? Awesomeness. Right guys, that's it for this time. Peace in our time. That's a fucking joke, isn't it? That ain't never gonna happen, you know? Right chaps, until next time, keep it Celtic, keep it bladed, and have fun y'all. Saddle up for Rambo. Later!